My boyfriend confessed to cheating after a night he can't even remember, so now I'm left piecing together my heart and our future. Posted by you/TM16801. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. We met in college, and from the beginning, everything felt easy, natural. We communicated well, trusted each other, and genuinely believed we were endgame. We rarely argued, and when we did, we worked through it calmly. Our friends used to say we were one of the most solid couples they knew. My boyfriend has always been a drinker. Not in a red flag kind of way at first, more like the life of the party kind. Over time, though, he built a reputation for getting blackout drunk. He never got aggressive or mean, just loud, silly, or reckless. His friends thought it was funny. For a while, I thought it was harmless. But slowly, I started worrying more. He didn't seem to know when to stop, and I began to feel uneasy about what might happen if he ever really lost control. Earlier this year, I moved across the country for an internship. We hadn't seen each other in 4 months because of COVID. We FaceTimed, texted constantly, sent each other memes, but the distance hurt. Still, we both agreed this was something we had to do for our futures, and we promised we'd get through it. One night, out of nowhere, my boyfriend called me sobbing. There was so much panic in his voice, I immediately thought someone had died. Then he said he needed to confess something. A month earlier, he'd gone out with some hometown friends. He got extremely drunk, blacked out. He remembered the start of the night, catching up with an old classmate. Then nothing. The next morning, he woke up in bed at our place. Clothes off. No memory of anything after the bar. He said he didn't want to lie, that he should have told me in person, but he couldn't hold it in any longer. He admitted he had a drinking problem, and he was terrified of how far it had gotten. He swore he'd never meant to hurt me. I was speechless. I respected that he told me. I knew he could have kept it a secret forever, and I likely never would have found out. But it didn't erase what happened. He promised to get tested, to stop drinking completely, and to do whatever I needed. I told him that if I were to even consider staying, alcohol would have to be completely out of the picture. No more excuses. But even then, I wasn't sure if that would be enough. I went online and posted for advice. The responses were all over the place. Some people said I should walk away. Cheating is cheating, blackout or not. Others pointed out that if he was too drunk to consent, this might not be as black and white. One comment stuck with me. Does anyone else find this friend of his creepy for taking advantage of a blackout drunk person?
That rattled me.
I brought it up to him. He told me the girl had been the designated driver, but apparently changed her mind halfway through the night. She was definitely less drunk than he was. She had initiated things. Still, he told me not to blame her. He insisted he had an active role in what happened. I spent days spiraling. I cried. I felt numb. I replayed everything about our relationship over and over. Was this something we could recover from? Could I ever look at him the same way? He called every single day, apologizing, begging for another chance. He told me he was looking into therapy. He offered to pay for couples counseling. He said he'd never drink again. And without me prompting him, he started reading about how to rebuild trust after infidelity. I decided to give it one shot, but I made it very clear. One mistake, one lie, and I'd be gone. He found a therapist who specialized in both alcohol abuse and relationships and booked weekly sessions. He also made our first appointment with a couples counselor. At that first session, we sat across from each other and talked, really talked. I told him I felt betrayed. Like the foundation I thought we had was suddenly full of cracks. He admitted he'd hit a breaking point with alcohol. He never wanted to be that person. He said he was ashamed and wanted to change. Our counselor helped us define boundaries. One of the first things she emphasized was shifting from rules to requests so we wouldn't build resentment. We agreed on complete transparency. At first, we'd go through each other's texts together. I had full access to his phone, not because I wanted to control him, but because I needed to feel safe. One day, my boyfriend made a call that changed everything. At my request, he called the girl from that night. He asked her to walk him through what had happened. She told him they didn't have sex. He had whiskey dick and got up suddenly, wandered off, and passed out on her bed. That was it. According to her, nothing more happened. After the call, he told her their friendship was over, deleted her number, and blocked her on everything. He told me he wanted to focus on fixing things with me and repairing the damage. But even with that version of events, he couldn't stop replaying the night in his head. Blackouts are weird. You feel haunted by a memory you don't even have. His therapist told him not to rely on patchy recollections, that your brain can trick you when you're trying to fill in the blanks. Even still, he kept showing up. Therapy, accountability, honesty. Update 4 years later. It's been 4 years since that night. We're still together and doing better than I ever thought we could. Right after everything happened, my boyfriend didn't wait for me to give him a checklist. He took initiative. He researched how to rebuild trust, stopped drinking cold turkey, and committed to therapy. He also proposed couples counseling and paid for every session himself. When people ask me why I stayed, I always come back to this. He didn't just say sorry. He changed. Permanently. A lot of people asked whether what happened that night was consensual. And honestly, it's complicated. He remembered being into her at the start of the night. But as I asked, he called her to clarify, and she said they didn't have sex. He passed out before anything happened. Still, he ended their friendship and cut her off. Even so, he struggled with not having all the answers. He kept saying he wanted me to know the truth, the whole truth. But his therapist explained that blackout memory loss doesn't work that way. It's not reliable. It's not complete. Our couples therapist helped us navigate that ambiguity. She didn't let us sweep it under the rug, but she also didn't let it define us. We talked openly, sometimes painfully, about the breach of trust and about how we could rebuild. We put everything on the table. We made requests, not rules. We kept our phones open to each other, not in a toxic way, but as a way to build safety. At first, I did check his messages, but not obsessively. These days, I just know I can if I need to. That makes all the difference. If he's driving and I need to text someone from his phone, I do. If I'm triggered and ask for reassurance, he listens. No eye rolls. No, we already talked about this. Just presence. He still brings it up sometimes if I seem off. He'll say, "Do you want to talk about it?" And if I do, he'll listen, apologize again if needed, and ask what I need to feel secure. That night left a scar, but it's not infected anymore. It's healed. We also grew up. Back then, we partied hard. I drank heavily too. We thought it was normal. After this, we both realized we weren't college kids anymore. If we wanted to make it, we had to mature. We had to choose the relationship we wanted. Therapy wasn't a band-aid. It became the foundation for something stronger. We learned how to communicate through fear and hurt. We learned how to repair trust after it's been shattered. If you're going through something similar, here's my advice. It's not just about the mistake. It's about what happens after. Are they taking real steps? Are they making lasting changes? Are they focused on healing you, not just avoiding guilt? That's what made the difference for us. Relevant comments. One commenter said, "Looking through the top comments on your original post, it's clear that this sub has gotten a lot more judgmental and less forgiving in the last 5 years. Today, your post would receive a tsunami of dump him. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Alcohol doesn't make any difference." I replied, "True. Even back then, I was expecting people to say, forget that guy." My boyfriend felt even worse because he kept finding posts saying guys who cheat are unworthy of redemption. It took him a long time to forgive himself. Another person said, "You can forgive someone and still walk away. Spending years in therapy, checking phones, needing constant reassurance, that's not for me. I choose to forgive, but I also choose to protect my peace." Someone else responded, "It feels kind of unfair to post that under someone else's story of growth. Just because you wouldn't stay doesn't mean she lacks self-respect for choosing to work through it." And I agree with that reply. This wasn't about being weak. It was about facing something really hard, choosing growth, and doing the work together. Another commenter wrote, "This doesn't sound like a victory dance. It sounds like codependence and a lot of pain." I said, "That's a stretch. We had a healthy relationship before this, but we were also young and partied a lot. After this, we both matured. I've looked at his phone maybe twice in 4 years. Now I just have his password for convenience. And therapy, individual or couples, isn't a bad thing. It's a tool." Someone else added, "I've only been blackout drunk once, and I couldn't remember anything. I don't even know how to feel about calling that cheating." I replied, "That's exactly it." We talked about it in therapy more as a break of trust than a traditional cheating situation. It's messy. Blackouts are terrifying. They erase accountability, but not responsibility. Another commenter said, "The guy was taken advantage of while too drunk to consent. He shouldn't be the only one carrying the blame." I responded, "I agree. He was sexually assaulted by most definitions. But we still had to deal with the fact that he put himself in that situation with his drinking. He knows this can't happen again. If it ever did, we'd be done." This was the most painful chapter of our relationship, but it didn't break us. It made us grow, individually and together.